friends. I'm a bit late today, but they say better late than never. I seem to have got a bit distracted. Although I did know that I had my Midnight Creeps episode tonight, but I guess things happen. But we're back. I've recently celebrated my 1 year on YouTube since I've actually actively started updating since my channel's birthday. Thank you guys for all the support and love. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Midnight Creeps. Even if you're watching this afterwards on my Storytime blog. And if you haven't and subscribe, you can find the URL in my YouTube channel profile. And I look forward to taking you guys on many more storytime adventures. Starting my YouTube journey has been quite the adventure, and I'm really enjoying each and every step of it. So I do appreciate all the love and the support of the natural growth of my channel. But let's dive into this week's episode of Midnight Creeps. Though I have some horror stories to share with you guys. This one is about a haunted neighborhood. In the middle of the jungle, there was a small town. It was obvious that there was a town there full of life. It was a small town with barely a few thousands of people, but in the dark of the jungle in the forest, you could see the lights coming from the place. And that was what gave the jungle life to know that there were people there that existed, or at least human life. As you know, the humans had to coexist with those they can't see in the town of the creepy, especially when Halloween is approaching. We're so close to the creepy holidays. And each night on Halloween, these spirits that we had to coexist in this town or village or what you're gonna call it, they grow more powerful and have the abilities to enter the human world. Some of them have been observing around all year what humans have done to their living place. And when those things don't please them or sit well with their spirit, they wait for their chance on Halloween Eve to crawl into your homes and shred you with claws. There was a young girl, her name was Bianca. Bianca was walking home from a late night shift. She worked in a bar. And because she was walking home alone in the dark, there was nobody else there. Everyone else was very much deep asleep or already resting in their beds. There were only a few cars driving by the roads, but it was a rare sight to behold on a dark eve like this. Since Bianca got home at 3 a.m. or at the corner of a road, she had to walk all the way to her house. She lived 3 kilometers inside, and it was a cool night, so she figured she never bothered to have to walk. But the witch's hour of 3 a.m. was approaching, and Bianca thought she was alone, but there were more things approaching her path. There were things in store for her that she never knew this world had. And then I'm talking about the demonic and creepy spirits. She felt a cold chill behind her back as she walked down the road. And for a moment, it seemed like someone whispered to her. She heard a faint laughter. But when she turned around to look, there was nobody there. She looked around and still there wasn't anyone there. Weird and strange. She thought it was maybe all in her mind, or maybe because it was that she was so tired from working her shift at the bar. Behind that table, she was, after all, the star. And Bianca had overworked herself from the partying peeps in Halloween or on Halloween night that all came to celebrate and look for a flirt or a fling in the bar that she worked at. Anyway, now she continues her walk since it's a long road to go, and she didn't want to stay this long out on the streets all alone. She had thought about calling a cab, but at this hour there weren't any cabs driving around. She got to the footsteps walked behind her. The footsteps grew louder and louder and closer, but nobody walked by her. She took all the courage and turned around to see if it was maybe a friendly human that could join her on her journey and she wouldn't feel so all alone in this night. Heart wouldn't be filled with fright. But when she turned around, there was no one again and the footsteps stopped. Bianca was creeped out as she walked under the street lantern and the lights fell out. She wanted to shout, but she knew that that was the smart thing to do. Besides, her body was so frozen up from what the heck is going on here? She kept walking, and when she walked past that lantern, the light turned on again. Weird. It must be an electric effect, she kept trying to convince herself. But when she got to the next hall, as tall as the lantern lamp, and Bianca thought it was a man with some hands. She couldn't see his face. And she thought that because it was probably this dark, that's why she couldn't see him. Where are you going? You shouldn't be out late at night, a voice yelled to her. It was coming from the tall man. I'm heading home. So alone at this night? If you're so concerned for my safety, then why are you out here? It's really late and you're hanging under a dark lamp? And then he said, I'm waiting for my friend. Who's your friend? What friend comes to hang out with you at this hour of the night? You guys aren't into some bad stuff, right? Because this is a good neighborhood. And then he smiled. She heard his creepy laughter, and strangely enough, although his voice was calming and his presence didn't scare her, his laughter gave her the chills that make the hair on her back stand. And he continued, my friend is the angel of death. We're collecting souls here. Someone is about to die in your neighborhood. You must be pranking me. You must be watching a lot of horror movie right now. This is probably one of those silly trick or treat pranks. That's what Bianca thought. If you don't believe me, you'll see yourself tomorrow. But be careful when you're walking this late at night. Some spirits that come here during this time of the year aren't as friendly as I. It's because I sense your kind soul that I gave you a warning. There are some treacherous spirits up ahead. But fear not, I'll make sure that you'll. And she judged by his voice. He must have been a young man, and she kept walking on from the stranger because she was afraid that he was going to do something to her. The rest of the road, she walked home and nothing happened to her. She did hear some dogs howl in the background and thought that it was strange because she's never heard the dogs howl like that. So she got home, she freshened up, she got dressed, and she was surprised that she got home this fast. Normally the journey would take longer, but it was probably that weird guy that creeped her out to make her legs move fast. So she went to sleep because she was tired. When she woke up, it was already night again. She looked outside the window of her room and she decided she wanted to get something to eat because she was hungry. She went to sit at the table, and her mother, who had just finished cooking, came to put a plate of food for her. She had cooked her favorite dish. And then her mother said, I'm glad you're already up. I might have to leave soon. Then she asked, where are you going? Oh, didn't you hear? The neighbor next door, Miss Babcock, she died this morning. And they're going to honor her tonight with a prayer night. Bianca dropped the spoon from her hand and she lost her appetite. It turns out that the tall man that she had seen wasn't lying at all. For more Midnight Creeps, guys, tune in next week for Midnight Creeps because then we're Halloween's Edge! Friday night at midnight. You guys know I'll be here waiting for you with more creepy fear. Halloween is almost here. All these stories have a links, and I'll finish it up and wrap it up and connect the dots with you guys in next week's episode of Midnight Creeps right here on my Storytime channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my blog. Bye bye.